Uh, we're just gonna let this run and see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. I think it'll be most amusing.
Harry Potter and the Throbbing Rods of Emotionality. Chapter 4, Career Day! To divert attention from the Hogwarts site, whose renovations were undergoing its fourth, beginning first from Rookwood and his ilk, the second from the initial pixie chop shopping of Hogwarts archives to purchase more of their preferred substances, and the third and fourth times from the Pixies reclaimed Unity's cafeteria workers' strike, where they revealed to the students that Pixies had been cooking their food for years under adverse conditions. So what better time to get both staff and student body excited about education than having a career day? Yes, the Hogwarts staff and student body worked together for 24 hours to put together an ad hoc set of presentations done by the parents of students and the conflicts of interests of the staff, namely the persons who had most intriguing jobs in Wizarding England, employing their magic for the good of, well, just Wizarding England for right now, with hopes of inclusivity in the near future. We have assembled a highlight reel of notable presentations of Career Day. Mr. Andromeda Bark Bybee and his broom rack display of cleaning and disinfecting magics, the Werewolf Clean Man, known for his specialized knowledge of magics that aid in getting dried mud or grimy gizzards, while protecting a weir's integrity, leaving any den-smelling funkity and frozen hunnalicely, howling big cleanup wolves be safe with interspecies collaboration. Nimoy Peeleman, star journalist for which newspaper, who also served as MC of the entire day, his magical magnifying glasses of pride and joy in his pocket, able to uncover magical malfeasance within a minute with precise acuity. His partner, which of 5 decades, Warrington Waywin Gulpanumplop, Mrs. Penapop from Mercuni Waken or Foppanol Koftopy of his editor days helped pave the path of his magical inkbrush through the bowels of politics, investigations, and speculative reviews of bards through Wizarding Britain. Miss Millifuttery Scallum Fudge, entrepreneur of the eponymous sweet store franchise that have put on a stunning show for the 99-cent magical candy pieces for their adoring fans at Wisport International Poshness Zone. Millie had included a personal mention of wanting to employ some of the Hogwarts fourth years that had done a decent enough job at babysitting her own clan of unruly yet hyper-existent rascals. A talk from Opet Anzak Sintorovich, a powerful dark wizard turned chef of fairies. Regional magical foods across Wizarding Europe. He displayed a remarkable demonstration of creating fire pit, casting magical hams, and boiling his very sizzling yet dangerous bacon moil while slicing and dicing his array of magical fruits. Bob had explained how his work had led him to bring closure to magical factions fighting to conquer and keep secrets from each other, providing his meat to the highest bidder.
Code.
Mr. Vassos Porcatinutunia, a scholar in ancient Egypt and Assyria magics and mummy preservation arts. He spoke fondly of his family's symbologists and grave Shagga team members that kept their Egyptian heritage a secret from the general public to preserve the tombs from looters. He shared how he would help researchers and investigators get permission to excavate tombs, only if they could use their skills and ancient magics to honor the dead.
Oh, and honor them.
Mrs. Rowena Uomo in her presentation of an interactive historical perspective of the witch's life through touch and sound magics, always recommended by guests as a novel alternative to classical research. Rowena discussed her love of rescuing historical art from being tossed aside in time or sold to collectors at excessive price ranges, then displaying it for free in any local park. Molly Shaw, the granddaughter of herb and plant researcher, Asebel Wade Bartiam Winter Weather Wernoff, displayed a magnificent array of blue flowers that were found by her family in Scotland. Sable's granddaughter lovingly explained the rarity of this particular type of the flower, noting that it was discovered in the deep, almost timeless mountains of the country. She hoped that she could encourage future generations to discover new and even better versions of what wizarding nature has to offer. Ron and Hermione seemed uninterested by the presentations and were only there because their grades in ancient wisdom depended on it. Harry, can you drive us home? Hermione asked, tired of the never-ending list of weird jobs and unusual magics of any kind. But the last presentation made them break their silence. Harry drove out from the Hogwarts careers presentation and caught Ron and Hermione looking relieved and impressed. Mr. Arnie Crackle, famous for his creation of wizard food flavoring technology, offered his entire presentation on his company's current situation. According to him, their current formulas were due to be upgraded, and it was hiring more folk like himself and promising people like in Ron and Hermione, and they intended to fill up 3 vacancies at any cost to improve the line of flavoring for all wizarding consumer goods. The interview began with Ron chatting with Arnie in an easy conversation, inquiring as to how one went about testing flavors. He informed him that they tested each one using their patented system, where wizard tasting had already been perfected over the years. Hermione, for her part, gave Arnie a list of her recommendations on what could potentially be added to the wizard tasting department, including certain specific and rare wizarding spices. Harry listened as his friends discussed their future jobs, and Arnie seemed impressed with their ideas. Do you have a minute for us to discuss this possibility further? He said. Can you accompany me to my office? Horn and Herman Snoop report back from the career presentations, revealing the wackadoodle true story. Report back. Lads, on the careers day going on at Hogwarts. Herbert Dreadwig, lead reporter at the Mangle Gazette, winked as he patted Herlanacia Grinchjewel's thigh. The events have barely begun, sir. In fact, so far, no one stepped up to announce themselves. A sign, in my opinion, of complete lack of respect and esteem. Unfortunate to watch. This sounded quite impressive, as if the events of the day were indeed as amateurish and lazy as the staff of the renowned Gazette suggested. But Harold Androsterfield, the head wizard teacher and MC of the event, was not daunted in the slightest. Oh, those words are unwarranted. He smiled. Careers Day is always bound to start a bit rocky as careers, after all, are never easy or neat. Time shall smooth the rough patches and lay our foundations, and soon the event shall show its magic as pure as water. It will be an interesting spectacle, Herbert stated. A show must come that tests a champion's wits and magic alike. Careers Day here. Please pardon me. Much to report, though not a spit name. Dorka Hestum Squawkar. Hidan so Zakakaska. Before he knew it, the hulking blacksmith snapped his shoulder in a mere twitch. Herbert felt faint. Yes, time indeed did test the champions of Careers Day. Its mystery soon began to take hold. The reporters gathered once again. What I cannot believe, beloved Dromanarak Stancolino, leader of the Pixirator's journalists, was that Careers Day was thrown to give impressionable students a leg up on the magical job market. And then there was the workshop. Pursue a wizarding job in Wales. There would be so many challenges, obstacles, and surprises in the job field for young wizards like them. But with time and determination, their passion could help pave their way to a promising future. Hermione followed Professor Jerdabot into the room with a mixture of eagerness and nervousness. Professor Bartles looked at his watch. "Let's start promptly," he exclaimed. "No, don't write anything down. Let's have no discussion about what might happen in a year or two. I'm not giving away any career secrets here." Hermione pushed up her glasses with a gentle finger. "That's not what I had planned, Professor. So please tell us more about your advice on personal development for the careers path. By any chance, will you be giving out actual tangible advice? Something one can use to supplement their education?" Professor Arbenpin chuckled. "Yes, but it won't be something that you will find useful right now. Instead, you can merely put the emphasis on exploring your passion and doing whatever suits your individual strengths and personalities. And that is more powerful and practical than writing down a bunch of career advice. Wouldn't you agree?" "I suppose it's true. Given that today's presentation style, I wonder if such high levels of abstraction will truly translate to something as real world as applying for a wizarding job. Not that it would matter, because the opportunities for someone like me aren't usually easy to find,"
You're in potions.
Hermione added. "Yes, it's difficult for many like you, as anyone who sees the odds stacked against them eventually realizes. In these moments, just have the mind to concentrate on your self-improvement and not the career ahead of you. And besides, just think of it this way. What if you were born with all the prestige and status in the world, and you had every opportunity at your fingertips? Then what would you need with career advice? Not everything is achievable just by getting an education. Sometimes a healthy dose of sheer talent and willingness to work hard is all you need. Now, in my opinion, both factors add up when determining success in the workplace." This was the most contradictory advice Hermione had ever heard. On the one hand, she felt encouraged to develop herself by all means, but on the other, she was discouraged from pursuing her dream of a proper wizarding career. Still, she could understand the meaning behind Professor Abbott's statement. Even so, how does one find a way to advance their knowledge and make a career for themselves, given the little we know about the industry itself? And what types of spells can even be done in Welsh? I mean, Welsh? It's so strange, given that wizards have made strides in just about every part of the magical world, yet somehow Welsh is overlooked. Hermione wondered aloud. At this moment, Professor Dibley Arbel strode in, ready to begin her presentation. "I'm glad you asked, Miss Granger." She smiled as she gestured for Hermione to sit down. On the bright side, the professors did a brief presentation to impart the valuable lessons they had learned over the years. But on the dark side, the workshops were far from structured and often left the attendees confused. Additionally, not one event covered issues beyond basic planning skills or networking strategies, creating doubt in the potential wizard's ability to achieve true success. Hermione stared at the brochure of job opportunities advertised by wizard newspapers and frowned. These job openings look so unpromising. What else could be more demanding, uncertain, or low paid? It was not without disappointments. Many presentations seemed dry or uninspiring, as if the presenters felt more interested in entertaining the crowd with jokes or singing than imparting real advice. Others were interrupted or distracted, with magic gone awry. Did the keynote speaker just cause a multi-casualty accident during her show and tell session? Squeaked Ron. In front of an audience? That's the last thing we need. And worse, A presenter's attempt at humorous stories took a bizarre turn, involving bamboozles and were-creatures. The idea was commendable and the content was engaging, but the way things played out proved that many wizards needed help crafting a cohesive message and streamlining the content. But still, the students of Hogwarts took pride in seeing their mentors reaching out and attempting to guide them. Well, at least the professor is taking the initiative to offer a presentation. It shows us that this is an area where we might seek out more personal guidance, Hermione said. Even though the presentation and experience of the afternoon were inarguably positive, there was still the lingering concern over how well executed or understood the entire event had been. What could have been simpler or more dynamic in conveying meaning and meaningfulness in educational moments such as these? But then, towards the end, a mysterious wizard had a workshop no one seemed to plan and put on the schedule. The mysteries of linear algebra. Did you always wonder what the first letter of Al means and why it was so important in our magical world of wizardry? Or was it merely a bunch of nonsense phrases designed to distract you and fill in the hours of the conference? Only the unknown wizard's answer would tell, and even he wasn't aware of all the answers. Yet, it's all very outweighed and effortful, and fiflexib will honishit yomunoe of him. Tam hiri hedobiawayo, rumorigao chontolo ilishin yusekited. Ron stared in amazement. Are we supposed to understand him? Hermione, do you understand him? Hermione thought for a moment and chuckled. Well, to be honest, Ron, I've had a feeling since the first half second that he has no idea what he's talking about. She looked around at the rest of the audience, hoping for signs of disbelief or cynicism. Unfortunately, the confused faces were a tacit endorsement of the workshop speaker's words. Hermione sighed. Just stick with me, Ron. Everything will be okay in the end. We have each other, and no workshop in the world can change that, she said confidently. Ron was relieved to hear his best friend's sense of hope and lightness, even in the face of the dire presentation that they had witnessed. Hermione knew that nothing could get in the way of their future, regardless of the professional success or failure that might be waiting around the corner. With her head held high, she looked towards a future with bright prospects, sure that everything would turn out in the end. However, despite the potential chaos, the careers day came to a peaceful conclusion with applause and a handful of new positions open to recruits around the wizarding world. Even the random presentations helped provide some solid food for thought and a unique perspective on jobs outside of the norm. Nonsense wizard of linear algebra, behold, the LLM! And the wizard unfurled a tablecloth, upon which table was something called a G. P. U. The wizard attempted to pronounce its magical characteristics, but got lost midway in all the explanations and references. Was it a powerful ward, or a self-adhesive fabric for protective cloaks? Whatever it was, it would continue to be an unsolvable mystery until it found a new admirer and savior in its path. As everyone exited the event with puff chests, stuffed keychains, and extra potions,
Swag.
the uncertainty was barely noticeable, having been buried underneath the magical haze of potential dreams and plans ahead. Presentation highlight reel. 1. Professor Bark Bobby with his broom cleaning presentation. 2. Annie Pig with a recipe presentation. 3. Auntie Rogine with her broom display presentation. 4. Young Wizardling Bobby Blummel and his dragon roast presentation. 5. Andy Scallum's sweet chop story.
Code.
6. Professor Artleboon with his one recital presentation. 7. Uncle Donatus with his wizard chess demonstration. 8. Auntie Finch Immaculacio and her egg invention presentation. 9. Mummy Kakatama with her pumpkin seeds presentation. 10. Professor Arpad's 5-bit introduction. After party highlight reel. 1. Grandmaster Panda's magical piano and juggling demonstration. 2. Mr. Derek with his lightning drawing stick demonstration. 3. Mumsy Brick in her floating cupcake exhibition. 4. Capikins in his sluggish worm farm performance. 5. Baby Shanda with his trick hooligan presentation, admittedly dangerous. Of course, the crowd wouldn't dare disappoint a visit from our renowned entertainment stars and their scandalous presence. Cuttrell and Bertola performed the evening's enchanting display with their signature performance, Love Spelunkers, one that carried the whole room on a wave of beautiful notes and melodies. If you like care, the Bearlocks, Babi Yabna Bingen Who, Boop Boopna Nubanuyo. You Moobas Bobo, Hunks and Po Wapshia you. Who loves you? Wunu Shiao. Here bunny money honey bunny baby bubby but kakiko hifidi hewe. Yoele hena wees befo sa. What will you do? Abba. Isna buda mo ho room babucha tazas. Boom. Paula, he haggard see to Bartis P WLLSTQQ. You B.O.B. Bugmoo. AI. He pussy PPP Zeba Yinapool Labarum B Tunyon Hiana Will. Ho Bibergi Best Juzeden. You fan you Gayopa. Screech sketch. Wee. Is it love? Yes, it is love. To me, it's love. If you found love, come closer and give me your blessing, please, so we can be in each other's hearts forever. And with that, the last of the swag was doled out to the remaining attendees. Snacks, caps, canisters, and candy munches that turned the mood from sweet and magical to downright saccharine, almost poisonous. It was a day and a night that no wizard would ever forget. Despite the rough patches in Korea's day, it served its purpose. The impressionable minds began to think of the future possibilities of wizardry. It was a revelation, and they came out of the event looking towards brighter prospects and better paths. Yet, the mysterious linear wizard returned for more conferences, unchallenged in his role and unmatched in his wisdom. And the future could only hold such joyous happenings as the days continued on. Time to pick up the metaphorical and carry on. Forward, brave wizard, for the best awaits us all. Let the linear wizard make room for more complex figures. And let a storm of new prospects begin. Nominate Hari Karyala Kapop of Shutterside Instagramageddon Spuddy of Mediklabop. Ask. We'd about Wedwinum. KWB, Kopsizlap, Vi, Maya, you progra, Horace Wardu, my Nergabos of a Vumvi exist. Humia. Uzin Gatti, the Amumba Biboa, who knows who I wanna he. Nerga Habibab. Roop Mou. Cutie be unhabooed Bob bead you hype you kataki mule mob boarding kippa jibiki kippa kaya huical. Buddy, anani you iwiye sushu me and shabu. We won in. Meathy Bumba Clack Yelverback! Pedagogical automatons, do tell. Would you bring them forth and begin the reign of robot wizards on the surface world? I must hear your wicked plan of cyborg magnificence. Boom Jack Cupid Yijo and Invenue Bakukan was a phrase given by the linear wizard, but the group surrounding him could not interpret its meaning, although it may have been a reference to the history of evil magic and chaos. Still, their faith in his unspoken knowledge remained, and their fervent pursuit of his eccentric words continued.
Cliffhanger.